Hello, good evening, and welcome to my very first video here on YouTube. My name is Anel, and as you can see by the title of the video, which is a very serious topic, I'm going to be talking about how I overcame and essentially killed my spirit spouse, or their now ex-spirit husband. I would like to do maybe a 3-part because I want to just give a little bit of a backstory. Then I would like to go into the conscious stage where I was aware of this thing, and then the last part of how I overcame. Because I know we all want to get to the last part, but I think it's important that someone can find themselves along my journey and maybe recognize a few things that I'm going to mention, So without further ado, I just want to share my message because I would like to give hope for someone. I know that this is a topic that is embarrassing. It's something that people don't want to talk about because they feel so shameful about it, And it's imperative that I tell my story because there's so many people that are struggling with this. They do not know where to go or if they're actually what's going on because it's like so confusing, So a bit of backstory about me. I grew up on a farm in South Africa, and I remember when I was a child, now I'm talking about 5 or 6 years old, I would wake up in the middle of the night and there would be a man standing in the corner of my room. And I would get out of bed and I would scream because, I wasn't dreaming. I literally saw this man. And like a dark figure, but I could make out that it was the shape of a man. And then my dad would come running in and he would comfort me and say, I had a nightmare and this, that, and the other. And I just remember when this would happen that I would recognize this was evil. I've always been a Christian. I grew up in a Christian home. And at the age of 5, 6, when this was going on, I would know to grab my Bible and I would read Psalm 91 or Psalm 23. And I would literally just go to bed and hold on to my Bible. I would sleep with it because I knew this was very evil. And then there were nights when I got pulled from my bed, something pulling on my ankles. So I was aware that this was something evil, and I just felt like I felt so scared. I was scared of the dark for many years. I was scared to go to bed at night even sometimes. And so then life continued and I grew up, and then there was a stage where I had a lot of perverse dreams. Now we're talking about either from late teenager to early 20s. So now I became aware that I had dreams that were so perverse, and I would wake up and I would feel sick to my stomach. I couldn't even repeat these things. I didn't want to talk about it. And I was like, okay, this is like, where is this coming from? What is this about, And some evenings I would wake up and I would be strangled. Like literally the bed cover would be strangled around my neck. Or I would just hear footsteps and I would feel a weight on the bed. So at this point, I was still scared. I've always been scared, either of the dark or of just sleeping in a sense where I felt like I always needed to be aware, like I was scared to just drift off in a sense. So this was now around the age 23, 24. I'm 35 now. Nevertheless, so this was still the unconscious stage, as I've heard people call it, the unconscious stage, where you have these dreams and you see these sexual things that are so gross and grotesque and perverse. And but at this point I was wondering to myself, you know, and thinking to myself, am I the only one? Am I the only one? And if so, why? Why is my dream life so, you know, nar in Afrikaans we say. Fast forward a few years. Now this is now where it became like in my face. The moment where I got to snap what was going on. So I moved out of my mother and father's house into my own little home, still on the farm. And there was an afternoon. I was now about 31. There was an afternoon, I think either a Sunday or a Saturday afternoon, because the attacks were so frequent and the nightmares were so intense. At some point I was like, I didn't even want to sleep at night. I would doze off in the afternoon. And then this particular afternoon, I took a nap and I woke up. I woke up from a sexual attack and the full manifestation of it. And I don't know if I can say the word, but waking up from a very hectic, intense orgasm. And I just sat up in my bed and I just knew. I knew something was wrong. Like, I was like, okay, I know that sometimes we can think about things, or maybe I'm longing to be in a marriage or a relationship and I would like to be intimate with my partner or a partner or whatever. But this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense that if I can dream something, that it can literally manifest in a sense where I could have such a full-blown experience. And this is where it became real. Like, the lights went on and I moved from the unconscious stage to the conscious stage. And I think for the length of this video, I will then move into the next video with the conscious stage and what happened then. So stay tuned for video number 2.